You're watching ESPN's Feast Week presented by Lowe's.
All right, we got 40 yards. I got a guy in a Speedo over there, Miss Hawaii somewhere here. Jay, give me a putter. I need a putter. I'm not chipping.
You got 40 yards?
Yes, thank you.
You got 40 yards. Take a full swing.
Guarantee I'll be better than the guy before me.
That's all right. We can chip it from there. Come on. We got a game.
The chutzpah of going driver off the deck. Welcome to the Maui Gym Maui Invitational. Another beautiful evening here on the island of Maui. And we got our final game coming your way. Michigan and LSU, the final quarterfinal of day one at the Lahaina Civic Center. Earlier today, Marcus Howard scored 22 points for Marquette in a win over VCU, 94-83. He also added 7 assists to the festivities as Marquette moves on in the tournament to the semifinals. Shaq Morris dropped 25, 19 in the second half to help lead 6th-ranked Wichita State to a come-from-behind win over Cal, 92-82. Matt Farrell, he went for a career-high 27 points for Notre Dame versus Chaminade in an 83-56 win. So updating the bracket, Marquette and Wichita State will meet up in tomorrow's semifinal round. That will be at 1:30 Eastern on ESPN, 8:30 a.m. here on the west side of Maui, and 13th-ranked Notre Dame awaits the winner of this one, Michigan and LSU. Welcome back to the Lahaina Civic Center alongside Dan Dockage. I'm Kanoa Leahy, wearing the Maui uniforms, obviously. But your impressions here on day one?
Well, my first impression is I wish Billis was that funny in person on TV. Like during a game, maybe in studio be that funny. He's pretty funny in the golf course. My impression was Wichita State really played 6 minutes. That's it, and snuck out a win that they were dead in the water a few times. I think Wichita State, maybe they found something in the last 6 minutes. We'll see. But that was a tough struggle for 34 minutes.
Yeah, trailed by 18 points at one stage of that second half. As for this matchup, LSU and Michigan, you know, the Wolverines were one of the fantastic stories of the college basketball season a year ago, and they are going to be led in part this year by preseason All-Big Ten selection Moritz Wagner.
Well, a year ago, nobody really knew who Mo Wagner was, and then all of a sudden, by the end of the year, it is one of the great stories in college basketball. Plane crash into a Big Ten title, but Mo Wagner became a guy that took a look at the NBA. He went to workouts, and he went from literally a nobody to one of the main guys in college basketball. This year so far hasn't been able to make shots. He's 1 for 10 from the three-point line. But knowing Mo as I do, I believe he will break out in this tournament. Shooting and confidence are not a problem to this kid.
Wolverines coming in at 3-0, although last time out they had to come from behind after trailing by a point to Southern Miss. Held Southern Miss to just 14 second-half points. But the defensive side of the ball, that may be some of the vulnerability really affecting both teams as you take a look at the fantastic freshman Tremont Waters just a moment ago for the LSU Tigers.
Well, you know, I think Will Wade, in watching him in practice, is changing an entire culture. Johnny Jones was a fine coach, but it was more laid-back kind of approach, so he's instilling defense. John Beilein is one of the great coaches in college basketball. Never been an assistant coach, has a system in play that is truly spectacular, and it gets better. The season, as it goes on, he adds more. Teams get better. By the end of the year, you saw last year, they're terrific.
Already bodies hitting the deck in the opening seconds of this one. Final game of day one. Maui Gym Maui Invitational, Michigan and LSU, a Big Ten SEC matchup. Wolverines controlling first, and here is Wagner. Can't hit now, 1 of 11 from out there here to start the season.
He wasn't ready. He was stepping back. He would have been better off just accepting and shooting a 2 as opposed to getting behind the line.
Here's LSU. They come into this one 2-0 on the season with wins over Alcorn State and Samford. All they're doing, averaging 102 points per outing.
I love their team. Like this kid here, Reith, Wap Reith, can go on the block. Perth, Australia, just tough, long, skilled.
He's able to get that shot to go. Reith, one of 5 returning players for this Tigers squad, averaging 11.5 points and 4 rebounds per game under first-year head coach Will Wade. Comes over from VCU, who ironically is also in the tournament. Straight on 3 by Muhammad Ali Abdul Rahman, and that one trickles off the iron, but Michigan will get another stab at it.
Yeah, Charles Matthews, transfer for Kentucky, has been terrific for the Wolverines. He was great last year in practice, athletic, can go get his own shot.
Here's a poke away from behind, but Wagner able to get it back. Finishes with the left off the glass. Part of what he can do.
Yeah, absolutely. He can use both hands. Waters made a great play, came up from behind. They just weren't able to get it. And the great thing about Wagner is he has terrific awareness. He got it and immediately looked, understood he could get to the rim.
A junior from Berlin, Germany, tested the waters of the NBA draft last year. Here's Brandon Sampson from the corner as he falls to the floor in front of the Michigan bench. He's able to drill the three. He's second on the team, averaging 15 points a game.
Sampson, terrific. Athletic at 6'5". You saw that he can shoot the basketball. Is a solid defender. Long. He's going to stay. He will not leave number 22 Robinson.
There's Charles Matthews, the aforementioned transfer from Kentucky. With 2 on the shot clock, and they're not going to be able to get a shot up. LSU with the defensive stand.
I'll tell you what, and they did it individually, meaning Will Wade, you see him right there from VCU. He has taught his guys that you have to take pride in your man. On that possession, Robinson worked the top of the key where he likes to get a lot of jump shots, and he couldn't get it because Sampson swarmed him. At the end of the possession, Matthews was swarmed. Individual defense key for LSU.
Tremont Waters stepped back. How about the soft touch?
I love him. He came out with 27 in his first game, had a bad ankle, didn't start the second game, but had 8 assists, no turnovers against Samford, who's picked second in the Southern. Here we go.
Nice little juke move by Wagner, but he misses from point-blank range.
That's his thing. Middle of the court. He likes to go behind his back. You take that away, he just goes to the rim. Got to make it.
And a foul on the baseline is Skylar Mays, the 6'4 sophomore from right there in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, gets fouled. Taking a look at John Beilein in his 11th season atop the Michigan program. Filled a couple of staff vacancies this year with a couple of coaches that he picked from the Illinois State staff under Dan Muller, DeAndre Haynes, and Luke Yaklich.
Well, Haynes was a great player out of Detroit at Kent State. I mean, he was absolutely a bear. Jeff Meyer went to Butler.
Left corner 3, Matthews drills it.
I tell you what, if Matthews can get consistent with the jump shot, Michigan will be as good as any in the Big Ten. They have all the pieces. They just need to have another guy on the wing that can shoot it consistently.
The sophomore from Chicago. I mean, there are some people that are comparing him, at least in terms of a projection, to maybe being a bit of a blend of Glenn Robinson III and Tim Hardaway Jr., but that will take, obviously, some development. But he is a good-looking athlete and a fantastic defender as well on the ball.
Yeah, and what Matthews is what he has to be able to do that those two guys became really deft at is shooting the basketball. Glenn Robinson was an under-recruited kid. Glenn Robinson III was an under-recruited kid, and he just worked and worked and worked out of Lake Central, Indiana, and became a pro. And Hardaway was kind of Robinson was not recruited. Hardaway was a little bit recruited.
Tremont Waters called for the mishandle, the carrying violation. 5'11 freshman from New Haven, Connecticut. Signed with LSU and head coach Will Wade in early June. Was a 4-star recruit out of Notre Dame High School over there. Number 32 ranked by ESPN, but an important recruit because he was a point guard.
Huge. You know, you're starting a program, you want to get things going. You need somebody that comes in with you that's going to share your mentality for 4 years, and Waters is that guy.
You got a whistle away from the basketball, and it's Brandon Sampson getting a little too tight to Duncan Robinson. So just over 4 minutes in, and LSU up 3 here in Lahaina.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by the Maui Visitors and Convention Bureau and visitmaui.com. And the Quicksilver Card from Capital One. Earn unlimited 1.5% cash back every purchase, everywhere.
Welcome back. LSU up 3 here in the early portion of this final game of day 1 at the Maui Gym Maui Invitational. Take a look at the bioblast of Will Wade, second youngest head coach at a Power 5 conference school. You see the previous stops, 2 years at Chattanooga as head coach, 2 years at VCU as head coach, made a couple of NCAA appearances there, was named the LSU head coach back on March 22nd of this year. And here's the list of the youngest NCAA head coaches in major conference programs. David Padgett, who just took over at Louisville, just narrowly defeating Will Wade in that regard.
Yeah, socks older than Padgett. I had a chance to talk to David Padgett, and you know what? Will Wade, let me talk about him for a second. I was so impressed by his intensity and his staff. You and I were just talking about it. Greg Heyer, who was a fantastic junior college coach. They are intense. They are after players. And I'll tell you what, you can see based on how they are defending, there is a lot of buy-in by the players of LSU.
And that one out of bounds goes to the Tigers. Yeah, Will Wade, just 34 years of age. Will turn 35 actually on Sunday. But a tireless recruiter and just one of those young, energized head coaches.
I asked him last night, you know, where did you get it from to be so demanding? He said his mom. His mom was a teacher. There was no way out in his family. You messed up. It wasn't the teacher's fault. It was your fault. And he kind of carried that with him his whole life and into his coaching career.
See what he has done from a win-loss record standpoint. He is so tireless, he actually has a running streak going. Yes, he runs 1 mile every day. He said when they came into town on Friday, didn't really have much time to get outside to run, so he just went to the hotel fitness room and jumped on the treadmill. But he has gone with the 1 mile run per day every day since January of 2015. So he's well over 1,000 straight days.
I'm embarrassed for him. I did 3 miles today, and I am fat, bald, and old. No, that's pretty.
Well, then I'm really embarrassed for myself because I didn't do any of that.
I don't think what I do is wrong. Great back cut.
Yeah, missing the layup on the reverse, though, was Duncan Robinson, and then Wade Sims hits the deck hard.
I know what John Beilein's a great coach. Duncan Robinson has been played by a defender who is on top of him, meaning his body is between Robinson and the basketball. So John Beilein called for a back cut where Robinson sets him up 1 step away from the basket and back cuts to the basket. It's just a little thing during a game that sets things up for later when Robinson now maybe can get free because of the back cut.
Wagner picking up the foul on that exchange. That's his first. So Tigers basketball up 3 here. Just over 5 minutes into this one. Here's Waters. Gets it over to Brandon Rashau, who just checked in moments ago. 3 ball from the left corner. Did a tour, but Aaron Epps able to knock it down. 6'10" senior from Ball, Louisiana.
Aaron Epps has been plagued by injuries throughout his career. But look at that steal. That's a bad call. That is great defense.
A near rip by Tremont Waters, but he does get called for the reach-in.
Oh, man, this is nice. A little swing. I don't think that John Teskey was sure about the scouting report on Epps, and you can see Will Wade needs a senior. You know, we talked about seniors in the first game, Farrell, Bonzie Colson. He needs a senior in Epps to help lead this team, and while leading, make some plays.
We're also learning that is a fairly forgiving rim at that end. Yes.
It's the glove.
It has what we would refer to around here as the aloha spirit. Very giving.
I refer to it at Bowling Green as the glove. Second half rim was broke. I never told anybody, and shots used to go in that had no chance.
So inbound goes to Charles Matthews. Can't hit the shot there, but able to chase it down near midcourt is Duncan Robinson. Another opportunity here for the Wolverines. Drive and kick by Matthews. A little show and go that time by the freshly inserted Jerron Simmons, but he's called for the walk. He's a grad transfer from Ohio. He was an All-MAC first teamer last year.
He's 2 years in a row, 15 points a game, and for Ohio University, he transferred after graduating to fifth-year rule and hasn't really found himself yet. You know, it's a totally new system. You don't always play with the ball in your hand in John Beilein's system. I think Simmons is adjusting a bit. In
low it goes to Dwap Reith. Backing in against John Teskey, and he stutter-stepped with it, and so it belongs to the Wolverines.
You know, Teskey has made a big difference. Didn't play hardly at all last year. Came in the Central Michigan game and really turned the game around, doing things like just that. Being big, forcing travels, blocking a shot, tipping balls out. Teskey's been good. He's a typical John Beilein guy that second year gets better, third year better, fourth, it just keeps getting better and better and better.
Coming off of his first career double-double, 10 points, 11 rebounds in the comeback win against Southern Miss. Matthews may have gotten away with a little walk, but he knocks down the J.
Well, Will Wade wants it. The referee told him that the ball was bobbled a little bit, thus negating the travel, possible travel.
So 5 early points here for Matthews. And we'll have a whistle.
You know, it's interesting. LSU is really well scouted. And this guy here, Matthews, is just getting buck. You see the ball got knocked out of his hands, thus negating the travel. But Matthews is going athletically. They're doing a great job of staying on top of Robinson, making it difficult and staying with everybody when Teskey has the ball. This is a weird lineup for Michigan. But this is a really well-scouted team by LSU.
Ibby Watson picking up that last foul for Michigan. So both teams with 3 team fouls. Rashal battling under the offensive glass. Here's Skylar Mays. Darrell Edwards, number 5, also out there on the floor for LSU. Nice move by Mays. Couldn't finish, though.
No, Teskey's length affected that.
Watson.
That's why he's in. He is in to make shots. I was talking to Terry Mills, the radio announcer, former great player of Michigan in the NBA. He said Ibby Watson is making shots. He's going to play, but he's got to make in the game.
Reith working against Teskey. Tough shot, and makes it over the extended reach of Teskey, who stands at 7-1.
That was a really tough shot. And Reith just lifted up. Reith, soccer player, all of a sudden had a growth spurt in high school, and now he's out here from Perth, Australia.
Yeah, before that it was soccer and Australian rules football, his primary endeavors athletically. Matthews just inside the arc. He's feeling good right now.
Yeah, he is, and he's the only guy right now that can go get a shot. You know, you've seen he's not settling for jump shots. He's taking the ball into the middle of the lane, twice in a row, bucket.
7 points here early for Charles Matthews. Reith has to go up and try to get it. He's fouled from behind by Duncan Robinson.
Well, when you're athletic, you can just go in and jump over everybody, and Charles Matthews gives that dimension. But man, oh man, this kid, thwop Reith over the 7-1 Teskey. This is not easy, people. Don't try it at home.
Well, Saturday night, there was fun and food and conversation to be had at the Sheraton Maui Resort and Spa. All 8 teams attending a luau and also participating in traditional Hawaiian hula as sort of a competition, I guess you could say. I don't know, maybe sending traditional hula back a few centuries there. But also, they participated in a cornhole contest, and Chaminade's Dantley Walker and Masa Swain were the winners of that one.
I'll tell you what, you got to give these kids credit. There is no shame. You saw in that dance contest, guys didn't have their shirts on last night. TJ Gibbs wore a bikini top with a grass skirt as part of the finals of the dance contest. And I must say, he looked pretty good. Not bad. No.
Well, LSU not looking too bad offensively. They're 50% from the floor, 5 of 10 here so far, leading 13-9 here. Final game of day 1 of the Maui Jim Maui Invitational. Notre Dame awaits the winner of this one in tomorrow's semifinal. And a nice-looking entry pass and finish by Aaron
Great
Epps.
inbounds play. Epps took the ball out, threw it over the top, got a cross screen from Reith, and just lifted up and made a good back cut here.
Yeah, that's Ibby Watson and the find by Jerron Simmons.
Yeah, pretty good by Simmons. Important for Michigan that Simmons gets comfortable because he can go score it, he can pass it, and he's quick.
These are 2 very offensive-minded programs, as it has been here in recent seasons, but the poke away defensively there by the Wolverines. Here's Teskey. Gets it back on the relocation. Abdur-Rahman getting stuck with it. 3 seconds to shoot. Someone's got a hoist. That went off the heel out of the palm of Simmons.
That was a bad possession because Michigan didn't have anybody cutting into the lane. It was all left and right, not north and south. Michigan, when running good offense, will cut to the basket and play through.
And here's a poke away and steal. Abdur-Rahman.
Well, I tell you what, LSU is quick getting back in the defensive end.
Here's Watson. A little long there.
Got to make. It's one thing to make them at 3 o'clock in the afternoon in practice. You got to make them in the evening. You got to make them when the big, bright lights come on. And Watson had a great look.
Michigan right now 1 for 6 from beyond the arc. LSU has hit 3 of 4. Make that 3 of 5.
What a great block out by Simmons. Simmons just took Epps out of there off of a switch.
Meanwhile, Isaiah Livers goes strong from deep. A lot of three-point attempts from Michigan, although this one inside the arc from Abdur-Rahman also misses. So some shooting struggles here for the Wolverines early.
Yeah, even though Abdur-Rahman looked open, he was fumbling with the basketball.
Trying to set up Reith down low, working against Teskey, goes to the left hand. The follow-up slam by Epps.
John Beilein not happy. Abdur-Rahman did not block out. He got caught on a switch and got caught watching the ball. Epps went to the rim. Epps has had a been a big factor. Nice back cut.
Yeah, Epps getting caught on the back door there as Livers, freshman from Kalamazoo, Michigan, able to finish easily at the rim.
One thing I've noticed with you and me, when I compliment somebody, they immediately make a mistake a second later.
Mays, that one high off the heel and a good tap out by Epps. Epps giving them some good first half minutes here.
Yeah, really good. He messed up on the back cut, but he has been terrific on the offensive end. Getting ready for a line change here.
Yeah, mass substitutions awaiting in front of the official scorer's table, and there's Reith finishing underneath.
So good. A little cross screen. Edwards on the really well timed. Ball went to the right baseline. A little cross screen inside. Terrific job, Will Wade and his staff, setting up their bigs.
So a 19-13 advantage here for LSU. Watson the stop and pop. Loose ball out of bounds. It belongs to LSU.
You got to help big guys. Everybody thinks you just put a big guy on a block. Watch, the ball's going to go to the corner. Little cross screen right there. Boom! Epps just reads it. No, I'm sorry. Reith just reads it. Teskey goes over it. You never go over a cross screen inside. You always go under. When you go over, it gives a passing lane. Cross screen with bigs, the big has to go under defensively.
LSU shooting 50% from the floor compared to 35 so far for the Wolverines. Here's Waters, the step back, not there. I'm not sure if it drew any contact with the rim.
Michigan has to get Wagner and Robinson going.
Both back onto the floor after that last mass substitution.
He had Wagner, he missed it.
Here's Matthews with under 10 to shoot. Stared at by Sims. Tough turnaround shot.
I'll tell you what, LSU is so different than what they've been in the past couple of years. Ben Simmons, no Ben Simmons. LSU is tough.
On Saturday during the practice held here in Lahaina Civic Center, Will Wade and the Tigers spending a good 30 minutes of the allotted 2 hours just working defensive ball screen action.
Yeah, you have to against Michigan. You have to be able to do two things. You have to get around the wide pin down screen, and you have to be able to get through the ball screen. No.
Reith does not get it off in time, so a defensive stand put in by the Wolverines. And that gets us to a timeout. 7:03 left to play here in the first half in beautiful Lahaina, Maui.
Apparently plane travel's become so expensive that ESPN expects us to get there a different way. We'll be in Portland in no time for the PK80. Hold the tip.
Well, when they do finally get there, coverage of the PK80 presented by State Farm will start Thursday with quarterfinal action from the victory bracket. We'll see 2 top 10 teams there. 4th-ranked Michigan State against DePaul, and number 9 North Carolina will go up against Portland.
Yeah, I don't know that Miles Bridges is going to play. Tom Izzo says he's tough, and if he's able to play, they're going to play him, but certainly they're not going to take any chances with a guy that's going to be a lottery pick. Miles Bridges is terrific. That's a great bracket. You know, North Carolina, Joe Barry's back playing. Michigan here needs to get something offensively. 1 for 7 from the three-point line. Again, no Mo Wagner, and Sampson is doing a great job chasing Duncan Robinson everywhere.
Here's Wagner with deep position, is able to move Reith out of the way.
Well, he held on to the ball, kept it on his left side, and used his hip. You have to use your lower body against bigs. You can't use your upper body, and Wagner did a great job taking his time.
There's Waters. Nifty with that handle, that's for sure.
Plays with his head up.
Although as he tried to curl that bounce pass into Reith, it sails wide and out of bounds.
All right, kids, you get the ball in the block. Don't just shoot it. Take your time. See how he uses hip? He uses hip, his arm. Take your time. You have the ball in a great spot. You don't have to be in a hurry. Wagner took his time, got a bucket. I thought he might shoot that.
Instead, they set up Wagner in the post. Tried to find a cutting Matthews, lost it on the way up.
Yeah, you know what? John Beilein is staying positive, but Matthews just got sped up. The defensive pressure of LSU has sped Michigan up a little bit, just a little bit uncomfortable offensively. That's why I think Wagner's got to come to the top of the key and shoot against Reith. I think that's an easy spot for them, or against Combs.
Four-point advantage here for LSU. Waters, that is from Ka'anapali, and he knocks it in.
I don't even know where that is. I just know it's not close to here. Wow, he is one of the truly great freshmen early in this basketball season, man. He is fearless.
Averaging 16 a game. Wagner the response.
That's what I'm saying. That's the one area where they can get a shot. Combs did not get out on Wagner. He had a shot previous possession. That's a go-to.
Just the second made triple this young season for Mo Wagner.
Yeah, he has not at all shot the ball well.
And a reach-in foul called against Matthews. That's his first.
Hey, I think this might be from Peoria, Illinois. I don't know about Ka'anapali. Look at how deep this is. That is just out there. And this is a freshman, peoples. Now, Mo Wagner, you see Combs is helping off, late getting out. That hand just acts as a sight of a gun. Doesn't do anything to Wagner at all.
Number 14, Randy Onwasser, out there for LSU, but it's Sampson losing the ball out of bounds right in front of the Michigan bench.
Well, Duncan Robinson hasn't been able to get a bucket, but he did play defense right there. Wagner was involved as well. Look at Wagner showing his hands and knocking the ball.
LSU, Dan, already with 8 turnovers. They average just 9 turnovers per game coming in.
He loves it. He loves playing at that high post and driving it left, and he'll go behind his back left to right or right to left, or he'll shoot it. Everything else for Michigan has been a struggle offensively. They're going to get something out of Wagner if they continue to move him around in the middle of the floor.
Xavier Simpson inbounds and out in front. Hard drive by Abdul Rahman, and he's fouled by Onwasser.
Onwasser looked like, what are you talking about, ref? There hasn't been a more blatant foul in this early basketball season than what just happened there. In some states, that's a felony. And he looked like, what are you talking about?
First on Onwasser. Both teams with 5 team fouls, so nobody in the bonus just yet. Fairly tempered offensive affair so far. Wagner.
It came off his hand. Popped out.
How about the offensive board, though, by Muhammad Ali Abdul Rahman. A steal, though, by Sampson. Looking to force the issue, goes right into Duncan Robinson, and a blocking foul is called.
Well, Duncan Robinson played that really well. I mean, really well. He got back, showed his hands. He was just moving a little bit sideways. A bad pass. Sampson has been terrific in this game. Doesn't really have any numbers, but a good call by the referees. But, man, has he been good. He has taken Duncan Robinson out of the game. He's been in the right spot. He's moved the basketball. Now he goes to the line.
Second foul on Robinson. First free throw good from Sampson. Maybe the most experienced returnee if you include games started. Started 26 of 31 last year. Scored 20 or more 4 times, and he's coming off of a 20.8 rebound performance in the win over Samford.
Yeah, he was really good. And Samford's no joke. Now, they were missing a couple of their players, but they had 4 guys back that were double-figure scores last year. And, man, LSU just came out and attacked them, got up early, and stayed that way. I really like this LSU team. I just think that between what that guy's doing with the mentality and the athletic ability and the addition of Waters, it gives them the opportunity to have a special kind of year.
Well, when he was hired, Will Wade referred to this LSU program as a sleeping giant, saying, hey, look, there's a history here, right? 4 Final Four appearances. You have some legendary players that have been through the program. He says it's been a down stretch here in recent history, but so much potential as Sampson rises up, can't hit the 3.
Well, I'll tell you 2 other things. They have great AAU programs in the state of Louisiana with kids that know how to play, athletic.
Oh, the block as Skylar Mays turns Abdul Rahman back the other way. 3:52 left to play in the first half. LSU up by half a dozen.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Hurry in today for huge savings on all things winter. And Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Hardest thing in sports is to replace a legend. Bill Walton was here last year. Now it's Stan Dockage. That ain't good for anybody but me.
I'll go on record and say it's good for me too, partner.
All
Last
right.
game of our day 1 coverage of the 2017 Maui Jim Maui Invitational. More action coming your way tomorrow. We got 4 games, including the 2 semifinals, starting at 1:30 Eastern. That's 8:30 a.m. in Hawaii. Yes, Marquette and 6th-ranked Wichita State will tip off at 8:30 a.m. here on Maui. How do you get ready for something like that?
Man, you just do. I hate to say it, but you just do. You've got a game, you've just got to. And it doesn't seem like that's the way it ought to be, but it's the way that it is. So you get up early, you get guys going, and hope they make shots.
Charles Matthews lobs it up to Wagner. 1 second on the shot clock, up, in, and 1. And a little double flex from the native of Berlin, Germany.
Again, Mo Wagner got the ball, took his time. Watch this. He's going to take his time. He catches it, gathers, fakes, foul, chin on the rim, keeps him. Look at his head. He's still watching the ball. He doesn't drop his head, and that carries it over the front of the rim.
So 9 points for Mo Wagner, and he goes to the free throw line. A Big Ten honorable mention selection last season. Was one of 3 Wolverines to start all 38 games. And he is unable to complete the 3-point play, but Michigan able to retain possession only momentarily. Skylar Mays going skyward for the putdown.
And Mo Wagner never saw him. He was just trying to give the ball up to his guard, and next thing you know, Skylar Mays with his quickness came out of nowhere, at least according to Wagner, and stole it, dunked it.
Matthews up, in, and 1. What an acrobatic move.
Wow, this is Chris Webber. Chris Webber kind of made this famous along the baseline with a quick spin. Matthews, man. Matthews, watch as he catches it and just whap, goes around, and then, again, keeps his chin on the rim, double pumps it in over Epps. Look at here, pretty athletic move. If you want to make those shots, players, you got to get your chin onto the rim. Eyes isn't enough. You lift your chin, and it brings your entire body up and gives you strength to play through contact.
Just the second free throw attempt in this first half for Michigan. They're now 0 for 2 from the charity stripe.
May I clear something up. I should read meme tweets during the game. I got guys telling me Glenn Robinson was a 5-star recruit. What's wrong with people? I knew Glenn when he was 10 years old. He was out of Lake Central, Indiana. No 5-star recruit. Purdue didn't offer him a scholarship. Stop it.
Here's a steal. Abdul Rahman. Foul on the way to the hoop. Some more free throws coming here for Michigan. We're seeing some defense here in this opening half.
Well, Michigan has to, because they're not getting anything out of their offense, and Abdul Rahman is very athletic. He dug that ball out. Again, here's a kid. Michigan's a fairly old team. When you look at Matthews is in his 3rd year. Abdul Rahman's a senior. Wagner only a junior. You know, and then you have Simpson, who's a sophomore, which is old in college basketball. A 5th-year senior with Simmons. So Duncan Robinson, a 5th-year kid. So they've got some age to them. They will not go away in this game, even though they're not playing great offensively.
Sampson was the perpetrator of that last foul. That's his 2nd. And Abdul Rahman able to knock down the first free throw. Goes 2 for 2 on that trip.
Well, he's important because he can go get his shot. He can lift up. He can make threes. He just knows how to fish around and play basketball. Abdul Rahman is going to have to be big for Michigan to win this.
Now, we thought this would be a tightly contested matchup in this opening day of the Maui Jim Maui Invitational. It has been just that here with a little over 2 minutes to go in the first half. Mays finishes with the left, but he is called for the offensive foul.
That's close. I thought Wagner maybe was a little bit late, certainly willing. Mays took it from half court, and let's see if Wagner. I think that's a block. I think Wagner was moving over a little bit on the drive right there. He's kind of sliding over, but tough call either way.
And now the Wolverines with an opportunity to tie or take the lead on this possession. Matthews got it stripped by Epps. Ahead to Mays in a foot race with a couple of Wolverines. They save it right into Mays' hands, and he finds Epps for the lane.
What a pass by Mays. He just flipped it over his shoulder. No look. Great hustle.
9 points now for Epps. Perfect from the field, 4 for 4.
Telling you, Wagner, top of the key, is going to get a shot here in a minute if he looks for it.
This is Eli Brooks, another freshman for Michigan. He drops the 3.
And made it or shot it like he owned it. Shot it like he's been doing it for 4 years. He shot it, I happened to be watching him, and he's moving backwards, knew he had drilled it.
Averaging just 6 minutes a game through the first 3 contests as Wagner taps that away. And here's Brooks again. Bounce pass to the corner, sets up Matthews. Off the mark.
What a great block out by Waters. Abdul Rahman was coming from the weak side, and Waters just eliminated him and got the rebound.
Under a minute to play here in what has been a pretty entertaining first half of basketball. The drive by Rashal.
They're going to have to look at this clock. The clock just ran a couple seconds off. I don't know if they're going to mention it, if they're going to see it.
Be a defensive foul against Michigan. And here's another look at Eli Brooks.
Well, there's nothing easy about this. He's kind of dribbling all around. Wagner comes up with a little screen, and Brooks just steps back farther and knocks it in.
No fear coming from the 6-foot Frosh from Spring Grove, Pennsylvania. Brooks turned 19 last month. Scored over 2,400 points at Spring Grove High School.
Well, he's the guy that John Beilein and his staff want to get going here. They kind of have a 3-headed point guard going between Xavier Simpson, who was here last year, Simmons, who came in from Ohio University, and Brooks. But they know that Brooks is their guy in the future. And any minutes they're getting out of him, they're very welcome to it.
Rashal goes 1 of 2 from the line on that trip. We got about a 9-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. Largest lead of this first half was 7 for LSU. Michigan with another opportunity to tie it, maybe even take the lead. Abdul Rahman finishes off the glass.
I'm telling you, he is uncanny with that. Again, he led with his left hip, kept his chin on the rim, laid it in. He is uncanny around the basket.
And LSU will use a timeout. 6.7 on the clock in a tie ball game in Lahaina. Well, we're tied at 29, 6.7 on the clock. Michigan and LSU, final game of this day one on the Maui Jim Maui Invitational docket. All right, well, we're seeing a little bit of character here from Michigan, down 7 at one point in this opening half. But we're also seeing some defense being played at both ends.
Tell you what, LSU is a totally different program. I mean, LSU gets after it defensively, really active with their hands. Watch this next half. As soon as the ball is passed, everybody on LSU's team jumps to the basketball. It's really impressive and really well taught, and Michigan has to match it because, look, if you don't match what LSU is doing, you have a real problem. But Michigan has enough quickness that they can guard. This game is going to go down the wire. This is a terrific game.
6.7 opportunity for LSU to score here before headed to the locker room. What would you like to see on this possession?
Well, I think you've got to get the ball to Waters, top of the key, and set a ball screen. I think most likely with Epps and let him step back, play a little high-low. Here comes Waters. They went away from him.
It's Mays deep into the paint. Finishes with the high finger roll. Final second ticking off the clock, and that's how the first 20 come to an end. LSU with the 31-29 lead at halftime. What do you think about that play?
Well, I'll tell you what, that was a heck of a play. They ran Waters trying to get him the ball, but Mays saw an opening. The defender from Michigan jumped on the high side, and Waters just whipped him.
So 9 points for Charles Matthews, 9 points for Wagner on the Michigan side. Meanwhile, LSU led the entire half. We'll take a break. Feast Week presented by Lowe's. It's halftime in our final game of day one. LSU up a bucket on Michigan, last quarterfinal of today's festivities, as we welcome you back to the Maui Jim Maui Invitational. Inside the Lahaina Civic Center, we got ourselves a ball game here to cap things off on day one. And back inside the arena, alongside Dan Dockage, I'm Kanoa Leahy. And hey, look, not a ton of highlight reel type of stuff from that first half. Just a lot of guys playing hard-nosed basketball.
Yeah, both teams are really getting after it. Dave Odom, former coach, now running this tournament, came over and said, we got a grinder, but don't be surprised if both teams loosen up in the second half. First half, Mo Wagner got going a little bit, came in struggling, but man, he was pretty good when he got the ball in that position, as most guys are. This is what I think needs to happen in the second half. They rolled Mo Wagner. They got to pop him this half. Aaron Epps, a senior off the bench, was terrific. You know what? That's what you're supposed to do as a senior. A new coach needs you. Look at Epps coming by and dunking the ball. I think in the second half, you're going to see Mo Wagner shoot some threes, and you're going to see the inside guys, whether it's Reith, Epps, whoever, start getting the ball down low. But a key for Michigan is Duncan Robinson. Hey, you and I have as many points as Duncan Robinson. And that ain't good because he's averaging 14 and you and I are averaging zip.
Yeah, Robinson 0 for 1 from the floor. He got a couple of personal fouls as well. Wagner and Matthews each with 9 points for Michigan, and those 9 points, as you mentioned, from Aaron Epps. So LSU here with the possession out of the halftime intermission, and a foul out on the perimeter after the pump fake by Brandon Sampson.
You know, can I talk about why Robinson hasn't gotten any shots? And it's that kid right there, number 0, Brandon Sampson, has done a fantastic job. Two things. He's staying on top of him, so everything that Robinson has to do is towards the baseline. And the second thing is he's not getting caught on any of John Beilein's screens. It's been really impressive.
Xavier Simpson getting the start here in this second half for Michigan. He picked up that last foul call, and the drop-off by Waters goes out of bounds. So for Waters, that is now 5 turnovers.
Yeah, John Beilein is harping about a palming call. They called palming earlier, and Waters is in danger for that because he's carrying the basketball. He's just going a little too quick into trouble.
This is a guy who has gotten off to a fantastic start in his freshman campaign, was the SEC Freshman of the Week after a 27-point fourth made three-point field goal debut against Alcorn State.
Thought he was terrific. First shot of his college career was about a 35-foot three that he drilled.
Gets fouled there. You see some of the aggressiveness. You also see the handle. He has a pretty special ability with the basketball. But we have seen him tempered a little bit so far in this one.
Well, he's playing against real quickness. Xavier Simpson, really quick kid. Simmons, who's coming in now, really quick kid. Eli Brooks, the same thing. But this kid is special. He has the ball on a string. He plays with his head up, and he can shoot the basketball.
Makes the first free throw. Will Wade refers to him as electric, says he has just an incredible amount of potential.
You know, it's funny. You think of potential as what's yet to come. This dude started with 27. Wade told me the same thing. I'm like, all right, wait a second. You know, is he going to do better than that? But I agree with you. He's going to be a leader. He's going to grow as a defender. He's going to grow in leadership. He is the guy you want as your partner, as Will Wade's partner in growing LSU basketball.
Well, you got Skylar Mays out there as well. He started 25 games at the point guard position last year, so you effectively have 2 point guards in that backcourt.
Absolutely, and that's the way, as we've seen, both NBA and college, that's the way basketball's going. This is what needs to happen. Wagner does not need to roll. He needs to pop back. I promise you, John Beilein and his staff talked about that.
And didn't necessarily feel the need to back up behind the three-point line. He just stuck the mid-range.
No, remember first shot he took of the game, he was stepping backwards. You just, hey, 2 points is fine.
Well, falling to the floor is Mays, and here comes Michigan after another LSU turnover. Great lead pass to Charles Matthews.
It was a great lead pass, but I got to tell you, Matthews looked like Usain Bolt. He was, you saw it too, he was flying down the floor.
Filling that lane, and we're tied for the third time here in this ball game. 13th ranked Notre Dame awaits the winner of this one in tomorrow's second semifinal. Here's Reith, nice up and under.
You know what, that's the great equalizer. I think Michigan's doing a good job on the perimeter, but when you're being pressured on the perimeter, all you got to do is throw it up to a big, and when he can make moves like that, that just equalizes everything Michigan's doing.
8 points for Dwop Reith. Wagner closed out by Sampson. Deep three by Robinson off the mark. And Skylar Mays comes bursting out of the pack with it. Left corner three ball rattles home. Brandon Sampson.
He is playing a great game. You know what? He's not going to have 25. He probably won't show up on SportsCenter, but he is playing an absolute great basketball game on both ends.
He's got 8, 2 for 4 from downtown. And another friendly bounce for the LSU Tigers. Matthews, that one may have been partially blocked into the clutches of Wagner, and we'll have a whistle on the loose ball.
Let's watch Matthews here. He's going to be right there. And watch him go flying down the floor. Watch, he just sprints. Now, what you can't do is what LSU Sampson did. You cannot backpedal. You have to sprint. But I'll tell you what, Sampson made up for it. Sampson just drilled a three, so in that little exchange, LSU and Sampson are up 1.
Sampson picking up that last personal foul, his second. Jeremy Combs comes into the game, 6'7", grad transfer from North Texas.
Now this is where Wagner should get a three against Jeremy Combs. Jeremy Combs did not show that on ball screen action he can come out and guard Wagner. Here he is.
Wagner again inside the arc, again splashes it.
And it is really difficult for some guys to play ball screen defense as a big and then get back to a shooter. John Beilein's made a great adjustment in popping Wagner, not rolling Wagner.
The move by Waters, finish not there, offensive rebound Combs. Sampson crosses up Robinson and throws it down.
Did I say he wasn't going to be on SportsCenter? That's SportsCenter.
Talk about a Maui Wowie.
The ball to Wagner. He's going to make the shot if you give it to him.
And a foul along the sideline will go against the Tigers. That's going to be Sampson. That's going to be number 3. But this was sick at the other end.
I'm having George Costanza opposite day. I said, he's playing. He won't be on SportsCenter. That's on SportsCenter. Wow. That's pretty good. This is a fun team. LSU is a fun basketball team.
Coming off of a 10-win season.
Well, they were a mess.
Defense was an issue. They ranked near 300th in defensive efficiency last year. They allowed 89 points per game in SEC play. Matthews, how about the left-hand finish?
Oh, man, was that nice. I tell you what, Simmons drew the defense, shrunk it, now recovered. This is crazy.
Waters.
Oh, he made
my
it.
Goodness. How did he do that?
That's 2 in a row.
We mentioned at halftime, not a ton of highlight reel stuff from the opening 20 minutes. Things done changed.
Michigan obviously spreading and driving. Oh, man.
Tremont Waters. How about this, partner?
This is luck. I don't care. This is luck. Michigan wants to travel, but I tell you what, he put nice English on it. I don't think he traveled, as weird as that sounds. He may have been down with the knee. We may have to go to replay. Where's Mike Pereira?
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Hurry in today for huge savings on all things winter. And the long-lasting power of Energizer, still going.
Back here in Lahaina Civic Center on the beautiful island of Maui, it is 40-35. LSU on top of Michigan. 15-27.
I think it's 42-37. Isn't it?
Yeah, we'll adjust that. The
That doesn't
scoreboard
matter.
in
It's
here
a 5-point lead.
is 42-37. Yeah.
You know how sometimes you know something, but you see it's different. You think you're wrong, even though. You know what I mean?
Yes. I know that all too well.
I do too. The story of my life.
13 points apiece, by the way, for Mo Wagner and Charles Matthews for Michigan. They have 26 of the 37. Yes, 37 points for the Wolverines.
Now, Teskey here, if he sets a ball screen, you want him to roll and use his size against Combs.
Here's Matthews working against Epps.
That's just a bad possession out of a timeout.
But we're going to have a whistle against LSU on the rebound. That's the last game of our day one coverage here. The 2017 Maui Jim Maui Invitational. The action tomorrow will feature a pair of semifinal games starting at 1:30 Eastern. Yes, 8:30 a.m. in Hawaii Marquette and number 6 Wichita State. How about the Shockers had to rally from down 18 against Cal, and they ended up winning by a pretty considerable margin.
Well, they were down the entire, 34 minutes and 54 seconds. According to Brendan Quinn, who is a fantastic writer for The Athletic, he covers Michigan basketball, and he's out here and lost by 10, or won by 10. Down from 34-54 and win by 10 is pretty amazing. If the game had gone any longer, they would have won by 20.
They upped the pressure, started to extend it full court, and Cal unable to handle it. The miss from the corner by Aaron Epps. And here come the Wolverines. Stepping into the three is Abdur Rahman. Left
He
it
thought
short.
he made that too. He thought he made that. He backed up after it.
LSU will get into its half-court offense. Mays says, forget that, I'm going all the way to the rim, and he gets fouled. He'll shoot 2.
How about that, though? This is how hard that LSU is playing. On the shot, on the miss, both Epps and Reith were up after the ball on the rim. I mean, LSU does not stand around anymore. They're just waiting, on the Simmons kid, Ben Simmons. Look at those two guys. Everybody is involved here and going. It's really impressive what this guy's been able to do in such a short period of time.
Skylar Mays knocks down the free throw. Yeah, Will Wade, of course, bringing some of that VCU style. He wasn't quite as tied into that havoc mentality at VCU, but still, certainly a lot of activity, a lot of energy is something that he brings to the table wherever he goes.
Yeah, and he's tied into hard play, which is what Shaka and Havoc really, at the core, is all about. He may not trap as much, but hard play, active hands. Let's dig out some basketballs. Should be a pop here for a 3.
Oh, he passes up on the 3 and looks to back down Reith. Abdur Rahman underneath, can't finish. 2-on-1 opportunity here for the Tigers. Mays to Rochelle. Rudely met at the rim, but a foul is called against Duncan Robinson.
Well, there is such thing as being too unselfish, and Mo Wagner needed to shoot that basketball. Now, you can't get in a guy's head and say, okay, why didn't he shoot it? I thought this was a really nice play by Robinson. Good reaction coming back, obviously a foul. But Mo Wagner just needs to shoot that and live or die with it.
So 3 fouls on the still scoreless Duncan Robinson. That sends Brandon Rochelle to the free throw line. Was a 4-star prospect recruited by previous head coach Johnny Jones, but convinced to stay by Wade. VCU was, after all, a finalist on the list of schools for Rochelle and decided to stay with the commitment to LSU since Wade moved over there.
Well, that's so important. When you take over a team, you figure out who do you want with you and who do you not want with you. And, you know, you can see this kid's athletic. He plays hard. And they have a great recruiting class. These kids, Galen Alexander not really playing, but Rochelle and Waters have been fantastic.
They got another one due to come in here in the next recruiting season as well. Last week secured 5-star forward Naz Reed from Roselle Catholic School in New Jersey to go along with 5-star guard Javante Smart of Baton Rouge and Darius Days of IMG Academy in Florida. Wagner again off the mark with the 3, but a great follow by Matthews.
Well, Matthews made the pass to Wagner, and as oftentimes happens on the pass, the defensive player just kind of rose up, didn't stay in a stance, didn't block out, and Matthews took advantage.
Hard drive by Rochelle.
Just a little baseline action again. You on a cross screen on the baseline, you have to chase. This is the offensive player's rear end and your head. You have to just chase his rear end through a screen. Get there. If you go over it, you've got a problem.
Simmons back in the game for Michigan. Here's Wagner trying to take Reith off the dribble, and a reach-in foul called against Dwop Reith.
You know, working the baseline is an art. It really is. You have to, you know, just a little cross. He goes over. The defender, Matthews, goes too high, and it creates an angle straight to the rim. You cannot go over action like that. You chase, and if the offensive player gets the ball on the baseline, he goes to the middle. Fine, you've got help.
So here's Wagner going to the free throw line. 0 for 1 here tonight. Hits the first, and that brings Ibby Watson back to the festivities. He replaces Matthews. So Wagner, as we mentioned, went through the NBA draft process, opted to return. Some of the talk was defensive struggling during the combine, and obviously some areas in which he felt like there was room to improve based on the projections. What do you think about what is now available for these players in that decision-making process?
Oh, it's the best. I mean, if you make a bad choice coming out of college, that's on you. It's on nobody else, because you get great information. You get a chance to work out for teams, and teams and the league are going to be honest with you. So that's totally on you if you make a bad choice, and I like it.
And a foul defensively called against Simmons. A little overzealous there.
You know, Mo Wagner, he and my son played at Michigan, and they were very close. So Mo and Duncan Robinson came out to our house, and I was talking to him about the process, and he mentioned the defensive thing. He also mentioned the difference in an NBA body. You know, you're playing against men, and he's done a really good job.
Ooh, wow, nice finish by Rochelle.
And Rochelle is just so active. He's been to the free throw line. Now he's going to get a chance for a three-point play. What a luxury to have a guy to come off the bench as your 7th, 8th man and be able to make moves like this.
Just a freshman, another in-state recruit here for LSU. And, yeah, got the bump from Watson.
I'm telling you, Louisiana has fantastic AAU programs. Great coaching, and kids, I mean, they have more kids that can play. It's really impressive when you get on the circuit and watch their teams and their players.
LSU now 8 of 11 from the free throw line. That was the second foul on Watson, closing in on 12 minutes here to go in this second half. Wagner Out of the behind-the-back dribble.
Loves doing that.
Finishes with the left.
Loves it. Loves taking you right behind the back to his left hand, or loves going to his left, taking it back to the right hand. It's just his thing. Right now, Wagner's the one guy, along with Abdul Rahman, that can score. Everybody else in there for a defensive reason.
Mays. That one rattles in and out. Offensive board, Reith. Wave off the bucket, a foul against Watson prior to the shot attempt. So LSU by 5 here at the 11:33 mark of stanza number 2 in Maui.
It's a Phil Knight birthday bash with 16 teams, 2 tournaments, 1 time only. The PK80 starts Thursday.
Well, we look back on what was one of the more remarkable stories of the college basketball season last year. Wednesday, March 8th, Michigan's plane slid off the runway. No one was injured. They arrived Thursday morning, proceeded to win 4 games in 4 days to win the Big Ten Tournament Championship. Advanced all the way to the Sweet 16 of the dance, lost to Oregon by 1. Derek Walton missed a 3 at the end of that game. But your son, Andrew, part of that magnificent run by Michigan. What do you recall?
I recall the worst of times was trying to know that he was okay. I was getting ready to do a game and didn't know whether he was alive. I didn't know. I mean, and then it became the best of times because you saw a group of kids led by a coaching staff that did an amazing job, not only with the team, but also like getting kids off of a plane. You know, in an emergency, John Beilein was fantastic. And watching that run was the most amazing thing I have seen. I've never seen a team play in a tournament game, major college basketball, in their practice uniforms. And then they went on a run that was amazing. It was the worst of times into the best of times for these kids.
What does it tell you about not only the group of players, but the way the coaches were able to kind of hold things together after something like that?
John Beilein left the plane and realized, wait a second, I got people on that plane. He had band members, so he went back and helped. And Mark Donnell, who is now at Clemson, was opening doors for people, a real hero in all of this. And John got them all together, and, you know, they had to get on a plane the next day. Think about that, without any gear, because the gear was in the underbelly of the plane that was smashed on the ground. It was just an amazing – I get goosebumps right now talking about it. It was an amazing, amazing thing. And, you know, to this day, frankly, a couple of the kids have told me, you know, I'm not all that excited about getting on a plane. It's a life-changing event.
Meanwhile, Dwop Reith picking up his 3rd foul. That could come into play here for LSU. But going back to that story, Michigan finishing with 26 wins.
Yeah, I've never seen – I'm sorry to cut you off, but I wanted to say this because I don't know if he's watching now, but I'm not sure I've ever seen a better leader than what I saw out of Derek Walton and Zach Urban in that instance. I mean, they were – particularly Walton. Walton was just unbelievable. Not only playing – but how he took the team and you know, the group of seniors, and I'm proud to say, including my son, were really, really vocal and got guys together.
We're going to have a whistle against Michigan here.
Well, this is something you never see. You never, ever see Michigan with 18 fouls in a half mostly, but certainly with 11 minutes to go.
Yeah, they do not commit fouls. Top 15 in 7 of Beilein's 10 years in terms of fewest fouls committed.
You get Michigan playing Wisconsin, the game goes about an hour, 5 minutes. It's like, man, nobody turns it over, nobody fouls. 40 minutes, you know, you're done. 20-minute halftime, and away we go.
That was another characteristic of that fantastic Michigan team a year ago. Led the nation in fewest turnovers, averaged just 9.1 per game.
Yeah, a lot of that was Derek Walton. He became just not a good player. Derek Walton became a great player. I think he's with Miami now on a 2-way deal. And at some point, Miami will wise up, let him play a little bit, and they'll have a really well-led team.
3 starters lost from last year: Walton, Irvin, and DJ Wilson. All heavy contributors. But it's part of the game, right? The next year, next man up.
DJ Wilson, and this is amazing. Nobody would have thought it before. Wow. Nobody would have thought it before the year. You know, he was the first player picked out of the Big Ten in the NBA draft. And Caleb Swanigan led the country in rebounding and double-doubles, and he was not picked before DJ Wilson. Again, a testament to DJ Wilson, but also with John Beilein.
Yeah, Wilson selected 17th overall by the Bucks.
What a play by Matthews.
Body's hitting the floor here for that loose ball, and it was Matthews to touch it first, but I think they're going to call a foul on Matthews.
I love Terry Weimer, the official. I mean, I love him. I've known him for 100 years. He brought his kid to my camp at Bowling Green, but that is a bad call. Matthews is first to the floor right there. He's got the ball. I guess you could say he knocks the kid over, but wow. That's just basketball. That's just playing. Jump ball. Let's go.
And that is foul number 3 on Matthews. Results in the Darrell Edwards made free throw. Check out John Beilein. Dumbfounded.
John Beilein swore that would be the time.
So free throw's good. It's 53-48 LSU. Closing in on 10 minutes to play here. And it has been an entertaining quarterfinal matchup. Last game of day 1 here at the Maui Jim Maui Invitation. Up top, Brooks passes up on the 3. Can't finish up close. Follow-up is good by Matthews, and one. He has been everywhere.
He's the guy. I mean, when you think about it, Duncan Robinson doesn't have a point. Another starter, Xavier Simpson, doesn't have a shot. And Charles Matthews has played great. Brooks with the drive kind of breaks down the defense, and Matthews doesn't stand and uses his athletic ability. I mean, look how high he gets off a straight 2-foot jump. He's as athletic as anybody you're ever going to see, having a great, great night.
So Rashal picks up that foul. That's his second. 8th team foul for LSU, 19 fouls for Michigan on the other side. And here is Charles Matthews now with 19 points. An opportunity to cut this deficit down to a single basket.
If you're LSU, you want one of two things here. You either want on the offensive end the ball going inside where they've been pretty good, or you want Waters to get something. Waters has been quiet here. He's been a little wild going to the rim. But this is a time where he needs to go play.
Waters. 3 by Sims. Back iron. And it is out of bounds. Last touched by, they're going to say last touch by LSU.
And that's a good call. You're going to see on a replay, I think you're going to see that is a really good call. There was 2 Michigan guys. One LSU hand kind of got between them and knocked the ball out of bounds.
It's Eli Brooks and Reith. They're going to say that Reith was the last to touch it. Abdul Rahman.
Clutch. Can't let him in the middle of the floor. You get the feeling this is going Michigan's way, but this is the guy. He's got to make a bucket.
That one off the mark. Rebound Wagner. Here's Robinson. Quick 3. Got it! His first points of this game.
You could feel it. You could feel it coming. You could feel some disorganization offensively 2 possessions ago. Michigan rolling.
And now the Wolverine faithful being heard here at the Lahaina Civic Center. The first lead of the game for the Michigan Wolverines.
You know, Duncan Robinson made this shot before he got the ball. He was set, and you see how quick he got into that shot. The defense did not matter. First bucket for Robinson.
A 7-0 run for the Wolverines over the last minute and 8 seconds, and they have their first lead of this game, 55-53 over LSU.
Hey, Charles Matthews has been the guy. The transfer for Kentucky sat out last year and was phenomenal in practice, but man, he's been phenomenal in this game. What do you want him to do? You want him to rebound? Sure. You want him to shoot threes? He did. You want him to go on the block? Of course. How about another offensive and 1 rebound? Charles Matthews has been the difference because we've seen 1 bucket of 14 points a night, Duncan Robinson, and nothing out of a starting point guard, Xavier Simpson.
Posted 20 points in the opener against North Florida. He's sitting on 19 points right now. Is Matthews 9 of 16 from the floor. So at about the 8.5-minute mark. And a fun one here at Lahaina Civic Center. Kanoa Leahy and Dan Dakich.
This is the third possession in a row where they have been pretty unorganized. And I don't... Oh, wow.
Waters improvising, unable to finish, though. And Wagner securing the board.
You know, for the first 22 minutes, pretty... Oh, this is
Wagner stepping into a three.
That's where Michigan kills you. They absolutely kill you. When they get on a roll shooting threes, they can beat anybody. They can lose anybody, but they can beat anybody. You've got to have a crisp possession here. And right now, you got too many people standing.
Trying to set up Reith down low. We'll see who picks up the whistle here. It's going to go against Wagner. That's foul number 3.
Well, if the NBA didn't like Wagner, Michigan sure likes Wagner because he plays with great enthusiasm. He's not afraid of moments. He runs the floor, and he can shoot the basketball. Mo Wagner leading Michigan the second half.
Birthday bash with 16 teams, 2 tournaments, 1 time only. The PK80 starts Thursday.
Great addition to the college basketball schedule here in this holiday season. What exactly is PK80? Well, 2 8-team brackets. They'll have 2 champions named. The event honors Nike co-founder Phil Knight in advance of his 80th birthday. 23 national champions combined in this one. 10 of the last 14 winners, in fact. The victory bracket and the motion bracket are the monikers, and you see some brand name teams all across the board. We'll take a look at the motion bracket and see how it's set up. You have number 1 Duke continuing to consolidate some of those first place votes in the latest AP poll. In fact, Arizona, the only other team now receiving first place votes. But how cool is this setup here this year?
Man, Mike White has Florida rolling. We know how good Duke is. Chris Holtman came from Butler, and they're in the same bracket now. But Chris Holtman has done a whale of a job at Ohio State. Mo Bamba, outstanding freshman, lottery pick for Texas. Fantastic event, fantastic bracket.
Meanwhile, Dwop Reith trying to put an end, finally able to hit that free throw to what was a 10-0 Michigan run. And we got a 4-point game.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wouldn't be surprised to see some trapping. Long, extended 1-3-1. Michigan should be good at this. John Beilein runs it. Look for shots on the baseline or short corner.
John Beilein going with Eli Brooks, the freshman, against some of this extended half-court pressure.
Man, is this a long zone?
Robinson wide open. Can't hit.
Yeah, it's funny. That ball popped right out of his hands. By popped, I mean as soon as he shot it, it went straight up. It didn't go at, it went up.
Now we got a foul in the post area against Sampson. That's going to be number 4 on Brandon Sampson, so the plot thickens.
Yeah, Brandon Sampson got caught there against Robinson, and to Robinson's credit, he went at Sampson. Sampson didn't give any quarter, and that could have been a no call. Boy, Sampson's good. He is good. LSU, very good. It's a really, really fun game here.
1-on-1 opportunity here for Matthews, and he hits the first.
You know, the way basketball's going, and you look out there, you've got Mays, Sampson, and Waters all can handle the basketball. You mentioned it earlier. Mays was a point guard last year and pretty good. Sampson is one of those, you know, combination guys, and Epps has showed he could shoot a 3 at 6'9", and then Reith 6'11". So you have a modern-day professional team out there in terms of makeup with a stud point guard.
21 points now for Matthews. For what it's worth, that establishes a new season and career high for him.
This possession, I'm sorry, this possession much better. Guys crossing the court, guys moving, not standing.
Offensive rebound and follow-up by Reith, getting good position against Wagner.
And that happens. Offensive rebounds come when you move the basketball and you move people. For the last 3 or 4 possessions, LSU just stood and looked at the coach. Now this possession, they're moving. They're going side to side. Shot was missed, but you see on the other end, Reith was able to bustle out Wagner and go get a bucket. But it was the movement that set up a one-on-one rebound situation.
And one of those seals from the opposite side of the basket on the rebound. When it comes from the wing, oftentimes the rebound ends up on the opposite side.
75% of rebounds rebound the opposite way. So Reith was there. Coaches teach it, and there you go.
Coverage of the Bad Boy Mowers Battle for Atlantis starts Wednesday with quarterfinal action. We're going to see 3 top 20 teams in this one. Number 2, Arizona. 5th ranked Villanova. And number 18, Purdue. The Bad Boy Mowers Battle for Atlantis, already the front runner for Name of the Year for college basketball tournaments.
It makes you want to go get a mower just because I got this bad boy I'm driving around. Hey, 2 really good players, maybe undervalued in the country. Jalen Brunson at Villanova, fantastic. And Dakota Mathias, who I think is the defensive player of the year in the Big Ten going in. I thought he was last year for Purdue. Purdue has been so good.
Wagner open again for 3. Doesn't get the roll, but a dunk back by Charles Matthews.
How can you not block Charles Matthews out after all he's done in this game going to the backdoor?
Matthews smiling ear to ear. How about the finish? Tremont Waters does it again.
We've got to show that. He spun that outside the circle. Now, if you're going to be a little guy playing college basketball, you got to be a great layup shooter, and I've not seen anybody understand spin better than him back cut.
Backdoor cut, Matthews fouled by Reith. And that's going to be Reith's 4th personal foul.
Watch where this ball hits on the backboard to spin it in. This is fantastic. Let's see if we can see it. It's outside of the – it's so good. Let's see. So good. Outside the square. Look how far outside that is. And he spins it in. That's tremendous. You can't be a little guy and be a bad layup shooter. Now, it sounds stupid, right? Of course we can make layups, but that's not normal, that layup.
To finish in traffic.
Yes.
Like you got to be creative.
That's Kyrie Irving-esque.
Great comparison.
It really is. I'm not saying he is Kyrie Irving, but Kyrie Irving, nobody in the world finishes better than that kid. And you watch what Waters is doing here. It's terrific.
Yeah, just in terms of those finishes, what those finishes look like a couple times tonight. Very Kyrie Irving-esque.
Yes.
12 points for Waters, by the way. 4 points under his 16-point average. But you're right, LSU trailing by a half dozen.
Speaking
close
of Kyrie
to crunch
Irving,
time.
Legendary producer. I'm sorry. Legendary producer Matt Bartley has told me that Kyrie Irving had 47 tonight.
Waters left it short.
And if I'm Michigan, I might think about pushing it. Now it's half court. You might go for a while, but.
And we got a foul on what was a hard drive by Muhammad Ali Abdul-Rahman.
The reason I said to push it, I don't think LSU understood what zone they were in. I don't think they knew whether they were zoning man-to-man, and then Abdul-Rahman noticed it, and he just went.
And Dan, that is personal foul number 5 on Brandon Sampson. So decision time here for Will Wade.
That's huge. I mean, that really is, because Sampson has played a lot of different guys. Mostly Robinson held him to 1 bucket, but he's rebounded. He's shot the ball. He had a fantastic dunk in this game. That's big.
So Sampson out with 10 points. Brought so much energy and playmaking ability for this Tigers team here tonight. They're going to have to go the final 5:35 with another body. So the 5 now on the floor for LSU. It will be Waters, Mays, Aaron Epps, Wade Sims, and Brandon Rochelle. For Michigan, Wagner, Robinson, Eli Brooks, the freshman, continuing to get the minutes here in pretty crucial stretches of this second half. You have Abdul-Rahman knocking down the free throw, and of course Charles Matthews out there on the floor. He's got 25.
I think it's interesting that Brooks is out there along with Rochelle. Rochelle is a kid that, gave him really good minutes at LSU, so he's a freshman out there playing in his first big game. And Eli Brooks, same thing, because the competition, while okay, hasn't been at this level for either.
66-58 in Michigan, turning the tide here in the second half. Rochelle, and a little freshman on freshman crime.
Is he quick? Rochelle took off with a first step and blew by. And Brooks tried to get there, but wasn't there on time. John Beilein not exactly excited. Rochelle is going to be something. He just blows by Matthews, and maybe Brooks was there. That was quick.
So Rochelle will try to cut into what is the largest lead of this game for Michigan. LSU led by as many as 7 in the first half.
I swear to God, if I had hair, I would have that right there. I do. I think modern kids' hairstyles are awesome.
I'm with you. Beggars can't be choosers.
Dude, I would. VCU is first team all hair. That could be offensive
Matthews.
Foul. Let's see.
Well, they're going to call a defensive foul against Skylar Mays on the Matthews drive.
I thought there was a hook there possibly by Matthews that was going to get called. You're right there. I don't know how you miss that call as an official. There are certain calls you cannot miss. Stepping on the baseline or a hook, you absolutely cannot miss.
Instead, they get Mays for, after the hook, sticking that leg out. Getting back to the hair discussion, Jeremy Combs might get the all-hair MVP here in the Maui Jim Maui Invitation.
I tell you, I'm not mad about it. I think it's great. I do. I think it started for me with the Winslow kid at Duke a few years ago, and I'm digging it. Has he been good today, Matthews?
Give Matthews 27 points. And here's some of the hairstyles on that VCU bench.
I lean more to the right than the left because I don't want to be blowing it out of my face. But Tillman there on the right, that's special. I do. I like it.
No, I'm with you on this one.
That's got to be an and one.
That will be an and
that's
one.
That's got to be.
Tremont Waters.
He is so quick. He goes away from the ball screen. Now, John Beeline's going nuts. But I'm telling you, I think he was in his shooting motion. He's going to go away from the screen. Xavier Simpson just came into the game. Right? Yeah, that might be a little long. That might have been. But he had picked up the ball and bumped. Yeah, I don't think he's liking it.
John Beilein saying, all right, maybe the finishes have been Kyrie Irving. Like, you have to give him a Kyrie Irving call as well.
Right. There's a little pressure. Let's see if they trap out of it.
So 6-point differential. Xavier Simpson out there on the floor once again for Michigan. They handle the pressure that time.
If I'm LSU, I'm playing Mays off of Simpson, taking away everything around the basket from him, making Simpson shoot the ball.
Here's Brooks rising up. Got blocked by Rashal.
How good has he been? I'm pushing. You got to push here with Waters under control.
So you have a freshman in Waters taking the big three and knocking it down. It's a three-point game.
Pete Maravich-like.
Make it a team-high 18 points for Tremont Waters. You have a freshman-sophomore backcourt here in the late stages of this quarterfinal game for LSU. You got a freshman-sophomore backcourt for Michigan as well.
Hey, where is legendary director Matt Barkley? Bartley. I put him on my all-freshman team right there, Waters. Show it to him, Bartley. Show it to him.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Maui Jim Sunglasses. Color, clarity, detail. Maui Jim. And Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Now it's time for the plays of the game, driven by Continental Tire. It's our guy. Look at here. Look at Waters, a freshman, spinning them in. Once, look at this, chin on the rim, spins it outside the box, and just gets it done. Here he does it again. I mean, to show you, the number one first play was no joke. This here, just as good. And Tremont Waters has been absolutely fantastic here late for LSU.
Yeah, has turned it on here in the second half. He's got a team-high 18. It is a three-point ball game.
Same thing here. I'm looking for Mo Wagner, maybe driving it.
It's Brooks working against Waters. Abdul Rahman, that one off the mark. And Waters chasing it down along the sideline. It belongs to the Michigan Wolverines. And another smile from Charles Matthews. He's enjoying Maui so far.
He should be. He's having a game of his life here, at least a game of his college career. And now, 4 minutes to go, three-point game. Now is when you grow up. Now we're going to see. And John Beilein is sticking with the freshman Brooks.
A near strip by Mays. Wagner goes down to the floor to get the loose ball. Abdul Rahman. against Mays. In the lane.
I'm telling you, he fishes around for baskets unlike anybody I see in college basketball. He's not the best player, but you let him in the lane and you don't put him in traffic, you've got a real problem.
He's got 12. Muhammad Ali Abdul-Rahman. Epps will try one. Toes on the line.
Yep, that's a 2. Epps has really given all kinds of good play. He was terrific on the defensive end. Watch him against Wagner. That's going to be big down the stretch here.
Now 4 players in double digits for LSU. Epps with 11 to join the club.
Got to get to him.
Wagner for 3. Got it.
Got to get to him. You cannot be slow getting out to Mo Wagner. That's what I told you. That's where Michigan is going to go. They can't get anything from Duncan Robinson, so it's going to be Abdul-Rahman or Wagner. Wow.
Sims getting behind the D and the feed by Waters.
Left-handed. A bullet left-handed. You're seeing one of the great freshmen in this country, Tremont Waters.
Matthews now. Game high 27.
I'm going back to Wagner off the screen roll.
They go deep corner. It's Brooks. Pumps the defender by over Epps. Misses it well short.
Bad shot. He did the same thing. He stepped back instead of just taking the 2. Little short pull-up jump shot.
There's Waters. Turnaround jumper. Well short again.
How about this hustle?
Loose ball scramble and LSU comes up with it.
Get a reverse, you're going to get a shot right here.
It's Epps for 3 from straightaway.
You hate to cheer in the booth, but that was pretty good. They got on the floor, LSU did, and Epps, the senior, just drilled it.
Well, you can cheer the fact we got a 1-point ball game under 2 minutes to go, but Waters committing the foul near midcourt against Eli Brooks. But a big hit by Aaron Epps.
And the greatest thing was the scrum, the scramble. You got guys all over the floor for LSU. Look at there. There's 3 guys going to the deck, and they got the ball out of there. Mays, the former point guard, finds Epps, and the senior did senior things right there, drilled it. College basketball's fun when you get games like this.
Epps 2 for 3 from outside the arc. Brooks to the free throw line, and you got these youthful backcourts on both sides, and here's Eli Brooks hitting a big free throw. Yeah, this has been a fun one.
Really fun. This kid has played really well. Hasn't done anything that's going to show up other than these free throws in the scorebook. But he has been solid both ends.
Goes 1 of 2 at the line on that trip. So it is a 2-point separation. LSU with a chance to tie or take the lead.
Remember in the first half they ran that cross screen and got Reith a bucket. Great switch by Michigan.
Waters loses Robinson and sticks the 3. No, they'll say it's a 2. Toe on the line. But we're tied at 74.
What confidence. Remember, his 2 games have been against Samford.
Dives for the loose ball.
Wow.
And the no-look pass. And reverse jam by Mays. LSU leads for the first time since the 9-minute mark. Timeout Wolverines.
Look at this bench. Look at these guys out here. This is just November in Maui. How much fun is this? Oh, man.
And a child will lead them. How about Tremont Waters to his backcourt mate, Skylar Mays.
Oh, man, Mays. A little mustard. Wow. Look how bad about that. Watch this over the head. Look at the kids on the bench, man. Jansen jumping around. This is so much fun. Will Wade loving it. So much fun.
20 points, 4 assists for Tremont Waters. Has a handful of turnovers. It was a bit of a slow start to this game for the freshman, but in this second half, he has found his groove.
You know, credit Will Wade for sticking with him. He had some turnovers. You mentioned 5 turnovers, kind of quick in this game. Will Wade knows who his leader is, knows he's going to grow as the LSU coach along with this kid, Waters, and stuck with him. And you see, he's doing the talking in the huddle. What a great great performance in all areas by Waters.
An important recruit for Will Wade, not just because he needed a point guard, but it helps to set the tone for a first-year head coach.
Absolutely.
To get a 4-star ball handler of the fashion of Tremont Waters.
Just don't foul if you're LSU.
Matthews lost it on the way out.
That's what I'm saying. You don't foul because, look, that was a struggling possession, and if Matthews is going to make it over you, then he makes it over you. LSU, great job not fouling.
35 seconds to play in this game. Waters putting on a dribbling exhibition. Tried to shovel it underneath the wreath, but he wasn't ready for it.
I don't think that pass was too hard. Sometimes you see a bullet, right? I thought that was a good pass. Wreath was just, I think, caught staring.
That would have been a dunk.
Yeah, I think he was thinking dunk before he caught the ball. All right, if you're Michigan here, this has got to involve Mo Wagner.
About a second separation between the shot clock and the game clock. Abdul-Rahman off the heel. Matthews going skyward for the board, and then a foul will go against Rochelle. That's his third.
Matthews, I don't know if this is a word or not, but Matthews just out-athleted him. Because Rochelle was blocking out. It wasn't like Rochelle was just hanging out, and Matthews just went up and over it. I think it's a word.
He's got incredible athlete ability. He also is sitting on 27 points with a huge free throw opportunity. Here he leaves it short on the first try.
That's the thing. Again, this is his first real competition in a couple of years. He didn't play a lot at Kentucky. Transferred, sat out last year. So this is really first time in 3 years.
So he's got to hit this one. That one is good. What's the strategy here now for Michigan?
Well, the strategy is I am not going to let Waters get the basketball. I'm just not. If Epps is going to make it, then fine. I would make Epps get the basketball. I would not let Waters get it. He's a confident kid. I think this is a good move. You get a little bit of a veteran taking the ball out in Mays because he's been a point guard. He'll make good decisions. You're playing 2 against 3 here for Michigan, so you jump Waters. Do not let him get it and then make somebody else make the free throws, but Waters too quick.
And they got to foul him. They got to catch up with him first, and it's Simpson who finally does it midcourt.
Truth is, that really wasn't a foul. I think the referee anticipated it. I mean, Simpson may have touched him, and you might want to call that, I suppose, but man, oh man, Waters too quick. They had 2 guys. They had their 2 quickest guys Michigan did to try to box Waters in, and they could not do it.
So here is Waters. Was 5 of 6 from the free throw line coming into this game. 3 for 3 here tonight. Misses short.
All right, now you got to get the ball, I think, into Abdul-Rahman's hand here. Michigan may call timeout. But if it's going to be a 2-point game at worst, I think you get in Abdul-Rahman and you just go spread it out with Wagner running to the rim and Robinson running to a side, and you drive it at Robinson's guy, and they're going to let you go to the rim, and you're going to have to finish if you're Rahman.
1 timeout remaining for each side. Waters gets the second one to go. It's a 2-point advantage for LSU.
You got to go.
Here's Abdul-Rahman.
Wouldn't kill you to drive into a guy.
2 seconds. The 3-point shot falls short. Wagner blocked on the way back up. And LSU hangs on to win. 77-75 on the opening night of the Maui Gym Maui Invitational.
Once a guy gets going down the side, it's bad business for the offense. Rahman wasn't able to get the ball and turn the corner and get it into the middle. LSU with great defense there, keeping it on the side, showing their hands and not fouling. Great win for Will Wade and his new program.
Let's take another look at this last shot here following the Tremont Waters made free throw. 2-point game. And as you mentioned, get it to Abdul-Rahman, but he didn't really get himself in a good position to shoot.
No, he didn't. He was double teamed. He could have reversed it to Brooks maybe, but once you get the ball going on the sideline, you see right here, great defense by LSU. They kept the ball on the side, they showed their hands, and they slowed Rahman down and finished the play. That was Epps who blocked Wagner, finishing the play.
28 points for Charles Matthews, but it comes in a losing effort as Tremont Waters goes for 21, 15 of those coming in the second half. So this freshman showing a lot of savvy here in this quarterfinal matchup as LSU advances to the semis. And here is your semifinal setup tomorrow. Marquette and 6th-ranked Wichita State to do battle at 1:30 Eastern on ESPN. That is 8:30 a.m. here on Maui. And Notre Dame, ranked 13th, taking on LSU at 10 Eastern. Once again, our final score, 77-75 LSU over the Wolverines. Our Maui Jim Maui Invitational coverage continues tomorrow again at 1:30 Eastern, 8:30 a.m. in Hawaii. Coming up next on ESPNU, it's College Football Live. For Dan Dockich, I'm Kanoa Leahy. Aloha from Maui.